We just got big news that Fnatic's next racing wheel is going to be a direct drive steering wheel. So I wanted to take a look and see what that meant for the consumer as well as for the future of the hardware market. Now in the iRacing hardware section, there was this rather controversial thread where this community member had his hardware break and Fnatic apparently denied them a repair service. However, over the course of 10 pages, there was this mix of convoluted shenanigans and things like that. So what happened was Thomas Jackermeyer, the founder and president of Fnatic, got involved. And he started defending the product, and he was saying that he was willing to possibly meet him halfway. However, the other guy wasn't having any of it. And what happened at the end of the thread was Thomas just unleashed on him, saying, you know, I was considering having you beta test our newest wheel, but since you keep on attacking the company and things like that, I'm not going to let you do that. So looking at that post, he essentially hijacked the thread by stating that the next wheel was going to be direct drive. And that just really started the rumor mill of what this next wheel is going to be. So I wanted to add in some of my speculation and think of what it could be. Now, one of the most important elements of the direct drive wheel is the motor. Now, unlike the consumer market wheels, which feature either a gear pulley or a belt-driven system to amplify the forces, a direct drive wheel has a motor directly mounted onto the steering wheel. So looking at that, we are going to see an exceedingly powerful motor. Now, the Fnatic Club Sport Wheel V2 featured about 6.5 Newton meters of torque. And the baseline direct drive wheel features about 10 Newton meters of torque. So that is a significant upgrade. And if you consider the high-end Leo Bodnar steering system, you are going to be seeing 24 Newton meters of torque. That is insane. Now consider that's about 4 times the amount of torque that is generated by the Fnatic offering right now. So what I'm likely going to assume is this motor is not going to be on the Bodnar spectrum. It'll likely be closer to the Sim Experience AccuForce wheel, which is at around 10 to 15 Newton meters of torque, depending on how you configure it. So looking at that, we are going to maybe even see it not as a brushless motor, but it could even be closer to a stepper motor, which is also similar to the AccuForce. However, that does help cut the costs. It does help with the mass production that Fnatic would likely have. However, it is still a very strong, very reliable motor. Secondly, we are going to have a look at the circuits, which unlike a consumer wheel, it is actually in a separate box than the actual wheel motor. So if you look at a consumer level wheel, you have the circuit board integrated into the wheel base where the motor is inside as well. With a direct drive wheel, you are going to actually have it in a separate box than the motor, and the motor is going to be its own standalone mounted unit. And that is simply because the motor is so large, it is going to require its own mounting, and then the circuits and everything is going to be in its own separate box, which can be mounted elsewhere. So I believe Fnatic is going to employ their own circuit inside this wheel. They might have their own force feedback software inside that as well. Or they're just going to have the standard X input drivers and standard force feedback that is done with the sim. Now, the next thing I want to tackle is the compatibility with existing Fnatic peripherals. And looking at the thread, we can see that Thomas has mentioned that it will be backwards compatible with existing Fnatic Club Sport peripherals. It should be compatible with the Fnatic Universal Hub, should be compatible with the Formula rim, should be compatible with the BMW and Porsche rims. So that will be a great benefit for existing Fnatic customers. Looking at the other side, you are going to have possibly limited compatibility outside of the Fnatic ecosystem. You'll likely have the Fnatic proprietary quick release system employed on this wheel. So I'm going to assume that you will likely not be able to mount your own custom rims on it. I would love to be proven wrong on this though, because there are incredible wheels that are direct drive compatible, but considering what we know, that might not be the case. Another thing I wanted to touch on with this wheel is the console compatibility. Now, Fnatic is known for having products that are either compatible with Xbox or the PlayStation, and Direct Drive is known for being inaccessible for all platforms except the PC. So is Fnatic going to try to bridge that gap? I believe so. If they develop their own circuit board, if they develop their own hardware, then they might be able to make it compatible with the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And that will lead to it being the highest end PlayStation and Xbox wheel available. So that could be a great benefit for those looking for the high-end experience, but also wanting to stick with Gran Turismo, Forza Motorsport, and so on. The last thing I want to touch on is the price. This is going to be the thing that will make or break this wheel. Price it too high, and people will go for the Open Sim wheel or the AccuForce. So my guess is it will likely hover around the $1,000 mark. You are going to have this wheel have this power, have this incredible motor, and you are going to have this hopefully at an accessible price. If this is going to be, say, a Club Sport wheel V3, then it needs to be at an accessible price point. However, on the flip side, it will be a beast. You will need a very solid rig to mount it on. So that will also need to be taken into consideration when you are using the cost. So the Fnatic Club Sport Wheel V2 has the standard mounting patterns that were compatible with the Club Sport Wheel V1. And I believe that the Club Sport Wheel V3 will have a different mounting pattern, and that will basically exclude some people who don't have a powerful enough rig to support the hardware. That will lead this to be a more expensive peripheral overall. Given the price to performance margin, I believe Fnatic will try to undercut the other direct drive market competitors. So these are just some of my thoughts on what Fnatic's next wheel will bring to the market. What are your thoughts? What would you like to see Fnatic bring in their new wheel? Let us know in the comments below. Also, if you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button down below and help keep us on track. Also, check out simracingpaddock.com and you can check out our new forums and join the community. For Sim Racing Paddock, I'm William Marsh, and you have a great rest of your day.